Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's a good day. I hope you're feeling it. So today I'm doing the long awaited video that all of you guys have been asking me about for the past year. So today I'm sharing my marriage story with you guys, the lead up to me being married, how I met my husband, all of that stuff, because you guys have not stopped asking me about it for the past year. So I'm going to do it all in this video today. This is going to be a very summarized version of my story. I'm not going to go into detail about anything. It's just going to be a very summarized version. If you guys want more personal and juicy information, then you're probably better off signing up to my Patreon. My Patreon will be linked down below. You can basically sign up for a monthly membership and get access to more personal and raw videos about my life. And so one of the videos that are on there is about like my wedding day, what my wedding day was like and why I hated my wedding day and why it was just horrible. I also have a video that I did on my 1 year anniversary where I basically just spoke about my husband and what he's like and how the first year of marriage has been for us. I'm also going to do a video about intimacy and your first time having sex after marriage and what it's like to save yourself for marriage and stuff like that. So if any of you are interested in that, then make sure you sign up to my Patreon down below. But with that being said, I'm going to tell you about my marriage story, and if you're interested in hearing that today, then please keep watching. So honestly, I haven't done this video because I don't really know how to summarize it. My marriage story is really strange and not like a normal person's story would be. And we don't have like this crazy Islamic perfectly planned out marriage story where it's like, yeah, he spoke to my dad and then the next day we got married type of thing. It's literally like over a process of like 5 years or more. So the first time I knew who my husband was and he knew who I was when I was 16. I'm 22 now and I got married when I was 21. I was 16, I was still in high school, and the way that we knew each other was literally just because we lived in the same area and he was really well known in our area and I was really well known in our area, and so that's literally how we met. And the first time we actually ever saw each other was when I was reading a book at a bus stop near his house and he drove past me. He probably thought like, why is she reading a book? Like, who reads books these days? But that was like our first encounter with each other, and then it kind of just developed from there. And obviously back in the day I used to free mix, he also used to free mix, so we didn't have the most amazing Islamic beginning, in the sense that like we knew each other as friends first, which I obviously would not recommend because it is not Islamically correct. But I'm just being real with you guys. Like, I knew him because he was well known in our area, I was well known in our area, and we connected like that. And that's how we knew each other initially to begin with. My husband, by the way, for any of you that are curious, is 5 years older than me. So he is 26 right now, about to turn 27 in a month, and I am 22. And I've mentioned before and been 100% honest on my channel that one of my hardest things to give up from my pre-Islam life was free mixing and talking to the opposite sex when it isn't 100% necessary, because I grew up and that was normal for me. And I don't know, man, I was 16 but your girl was looking for marriage. Like, I swear it doesn't really make sense, but my whole life I literally was just like, yep, can't wait to grow up, get married, have kids. Like, that was what I loved and what I wanted for my life. And so I was like, yep, that's it, me and Bilal, we're done getting married, that's it, let's get this sorted. And he was like, yeah, you're a bit young, Sam, like, you're only 16, you haven't even turned 18 yet, let me come back when you're 18. So I was like fully offended, like, don't just bail on me like that. So he would have just turned 21, and obviously I understand, like, in our society it's really weird, like a 16-year-old being with a 21-year-old. So I mean, he was like not about that life, and so he skated out. And when I was 18 he actually did come back and he was like, hey Sam. And when I was 18 I was a bit more reserved. I was starting to come into my personality. I was outside of school at this point. I had been in university for a few months, and so I was really growing and developing myself a lot during this time. And so when he did come back when I was 18, I was a bit hesitant and I was a bit like, yeah, this guy might be a jerk, but also he might not be. And we were very hot and cold with each other. I'll be 100% honest with you guys, like, I really liked him and I actually did want to be with him when I was 18, and I could have seen myself marrying him, and I really wanted him, but I just feel like our lives at that stage didn't align. It just wasn't meshing, and no matter how much we tried to force it, it was just not working. And I feel like at this stage also, we used to argue a lot and we were super argumentative with each other because I felt like he had such a strong personality, I had such a strong personality, and he liked to just push my buttons because he liked to get a reaction out of me. Neither of us were like really mature enough to handle the process of marriage. I think I just feel like our goals didn't align, and what we wanted didn't align, and what I wanted from him he couldn't give me, and what he wanted from me I wasn't willing to give him. And so it just ended up really not working out. And like I said, there was just a lot of back and forth with each other, and it just wasn't working out. Like, no matter how much we might have wanted each other, no matter how much we might have tried to make it work, it just wasn't working out, because what I wanted he couldn't give me, and what he wanted I couldn't give him, and we weren't willing to compromise in the middle with each other. And so that happened, and then again we both just decided to call it quits and just bail out. I was really not having him at this point. Like, I was really upset at a lot of the things that he had said, and he was obviously upset at a lot of the things that I had said. He was really confused in his life, and I was super lost in my life. I wanted him so badly, but at the same time he wasn't what I was looking for, if that makes sense. And then fast forward 2 years. So during this 2 years I decided to put hijab on, decided to really fix my life, decided to get my priorities in order, figure out what I wanted in my life, focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lot more, focus on my relationship with and growing my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lot more, focus on my values. I finally stopped free mixing. I wasn't about that life anymore. I really just did a 180 in my life and really just wanted something different for myself. And so those 2 years were a whole lot of growth for me. From like 19 my life was a mess to like 20 I finally fixed things. And at the same time Bilal was also going through that process. Obviously I had no idea. I had nothing to do with him during this time. I did not stalk him on Facebook. I was not interested in his life. I really could not care less about anything about him, and that was just how I felt at that time. But anyways, during this time Bilal went through a lot in his personal life. He had really bad mental health issues, and he also just decided to fix his life. And my husband, for those of you that are curious, was raised in a Muslim household. He was raised with a Muslim family, but I feel like every single person chooses Islam for themselves at one point in their life. And I'm such a believer of this. Like, people always like, reverts this, reverts that, you guys are so amazing, and I'm just like, ugh. I feel like every single person chooses Islam for themselves at some point in their lives. And so this was the point where my husband chose Islam for himself, and where he really like reflected on himself and asked himself why he believed in the religion that he believed in, and questioned his faith and asked himself, is this what he wants to believe, or is he just believing this because this is what his family has raised him to believe? And so he researched other religions. He was out there doing the most, trying to discover himself, trying to like really fix himself and better himself, and to create like contentment in his heart, because obviously, like I said, he was going through mental health issues and he was really suffering with depression during this time. So those 2 years for me were such growth years and such development years, and literally like the most vital years in my life so far, to change me and grow me into the person that I am today. And I had no idea that those 2 years were also the exact same for Bilal, and these years that Bilal really needed to grow, really needed to change, and really needed to like be the person that he was going to be as well. And so fast forward, I was 20 years old. Bilal reached out to me again, and he actually reached out originally to apologize to me, and he apologized for the way that we left things and the way that he treated me, and I apologized for the way that I treated him as well. And I'll be honest with you guys, like at first, like I accepted his apology, but I was also still like, yeah, but you still hurt me. So like, I don't know if he was apologizing with the intention of us being together, or if he was just apologizing because he wanted to rectify his wrongs. And so I was just like, yep, okay, your apology is accepted, but I still don't want to borrow of you. So fast forward 6 months, and he reached out again, and he was just so honest with me, and he just said like, Samantha, I want to be with you, like I want to marry you, is that something that you're interested in? And I was so hesitant this time around, and I was so like, I drilled him so bad, and I was just like, I don't think our goals align. I don't think you have the right intentions for me. I don't think like you want the same things for me. Like, I don't want anything in this dunya. I'm focused on the afterlife. Like, I want to go live in a tent in Saudi Arabia. Is that what you want? Like, I was really testing him, and I wanted to know where his morals were at and where his values were at and what he wanted in his life. And he wanted the same things that I wanted, and he was so focused on the akhirah like me, and he wanted to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like me, and he had cut out all of the habits that I hated about him from the previous time. And I think I also had cut out all of the habits that he hated about me from the previous time. And so it really is so crazy to think about, but it's like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala separated us, made us work on ourselves as individuals, and then brought us back together and made that easy for us. And so the second time around, after a few months of deliberation, I eventually ended up saying, yeah, okay, fair enough, like, you're serious, you're genuine, I want to be with you. And then obviously, like, he was so eager to meet my mum and get everything started. And during that time, like, it was literally so crazy because we faced so many challenges and so many hurdles. Like, I can't even express to you the baggage that he had to shoulder of, like, my life and my trauma and my upbringing and the things that I've experienced, and the same for me, like the things that I had to shoulder from his life and the things that he's been through and the things that he's done and the way that his life has shaped him. But we always faced it with the perspective that, like, this is not us fighting each other, it's us facing a problem, and we overcame everything as a couple together, and everything literally just fell into line for us. And obviously, like I said, we did have to overcome a lot of difficulties in getting married, but none of those difficulties were marriage difficulties. So none of those difficulties were red flags that made us question, like, is this person right for me or is this person not right for me? Like, I never had to question that. I never had to ask myself, am I making the right decision or am I not making the right decision? Because with everything that happened, his reaction was always the perfect reaction, and always the reaction that I wanted from a spouse and wanted from a partner. And I realized how much he helped me grow and how much I helped him grow. And it was just so different than the previous time, where I just feel like we always used to butt heads and things always used to go wrong and things just didn't fit together. And it was now everything fits. We fit together so perfectly. We're always in sync. Like, we know exactly what the other person wants. We are able to react in the right way during certain situations. We have the same values, we have the same morals, we have the same goals. And it was really then that I was like, okay, this guy is exactly what I want in a spouse. And from me at 18 saying, yeah, this guy is not what I want in a spouse, to me then at 20 and 21 saying, yep, okay, this is the person that I want to be with forever. And so I was 21 and we decided to get married, and we got married a few days before Ramadan, 2 days before Ramadan last year. And then fast forward to right now, which is a year from then, and like, I couldn't be more grateful and I couldn't be more happy, and I really feel like I made the right decision, and it was really Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's work. And if I wanted to plan something like this, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And I never thought that I would be with somebody that gets me as much as he does and, like, really understands as much as he does. So I'm super grateful for that, and I'm super grateful for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plan and how he worked everything out for us. Like I said, it's obviously not a fairy tale story where people just meet and they connect and they get married. Our story has a lot of ups and downs, but I feel like it tested us a lot as a couple, and it helped us and grew us and made marriage such an obvious thing to do, and really helped me to not question myself about whether I was making the right decision or not, because I knew 100% that this person is always the right decision and this person is always the person that I want to be with. That is my marriage story, and I hope that you guys enjoyed and found benefit in it. I don't know, I hope you learned something new about me and Bilal, and I can't wait for you guys to meet him. We're actually working on a project right now for you guys to be able to interact with him more and get to know him and, like, really know the person that he is, because he is the most perfect person. And I just can't wait for that project to come to life and for you guys to be able to have a chance to meet him and know him and love him as much as I do. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure, like I said, you do sign up for my Patreon if you're interested. And with that being said, I'll talk to you soon. So, like, bye.